Well, hello, friends, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you. Hello. Please comment as I do this video. I'm going to do a little bit of reflecting. I'm a pretty deep thinking, deep feeling person, and I'm also going to make several organic offers and invitations as this rolls out. There's nothing scripted here. It's all completely impromptu. Whatever feels natural is coming out, and if you've been following me for any length of time, you pretty much know that's my style. Hi Phyllis, you're the first one here, nice to see you. And Kristen, wow, we've been friends for a long time. Hi Lisa, very nice to see you guys. So, and my offerings and invitations are probably going to happen towards the end of this live feed, and just like throughout, I'll sprinkle stuff in too. So, first, my reflection. 40 years old. How does that happen? I just had my 40th birthday yesterday. Honestly, I have no idea. Mechanically, I know the passing of time. I've done 40 circles around the sun. Mechanically, I know how it happens. All of us do. But as far as my perception of the passing of time, how does it happen that I'm 40 years old already? And it's at such an, there's a disconnect between mechanically how old I am and how I feel. I feel like I'm in my teen years still, like I'm 17, 18, 19 years old. Physically, that's how I feel. So there's an enormous disconnect between that and my empirical age of being 40. So I don't know how that happens other than the mechanics circling around the sun. And, but gosh, metaphysically, my perception of the passing of time, no clue. I just don't know. Something I don't know how to digest, honestly. I just don't know how to digest it. So that's sort of, you're only as old as you feel. Pretty much explain that, between that contrast and the disconnect between how I feel and mechanically how it happened. Hi Chandra, and thank you Sherry for the late happy birthday. I appreciate it. So I got everything that I really wanted on my 40th birthday, and I've known this for years since I started thinking about what do I want to do for my 40? Do I want a big blowout? Do I want an over-the-hill party? Well, nobody threw me one. I never said I didn't want an over-the-hill party, but nobody threw me one, and maybe that's because of my Fountain of Youth appearance. I don't know, but I'll get into that too. But there was no over-the-hill party. I got everything I wanted. I was just to spend my birthday with my parents and my brother. My parents, the people that raised me, and I still get them around. A lot of people don't have their parents, or one of them is gone, or they're divorced. Mine are still together, and they're living, and we were able to go out to dinner and enjoy ourselves. So that's pretty cool. Plus, I'm adopted, and a few years ago I found my biological family, so I got to talk to them on the phone because they're in Colorado, I'm in Wisconsin. So we got to talk to my biological mom and dad, and I got to talk to my mom and dad, who I call mom and dad because they raised me. So, I mean, what more could I ask for? That was just perfect. That's all I wanted, and that's exactly what I did. And as a bonus, my friend Jody asked to take me out to lunch yesterday, so that was cool too. I got to hang out with my friend Jody. So, yeah. Okay, so now on to the other stuff that maybe can be a benefit for you guys as I talk about just Fountain of Youth type stuff. And now that I'm 40, man, I've been thinking about this for a long time, pushing 40 for the last several years. Now I'm 40, and now I'm going to go beyond 40. And I'm really shifting my focus more and more towards just a Fountain of Youth kind of thing, because everyone's thinking about it, including me, even before you're 40 and then after you're 40. It's just different perspectives as you go along this path of life and aging and getting older. So what are the things that I'm doing to keep myself looking younger? Hi, Rob. Number one, I'll just right off the bat. Today, for example, it's a Thursday, and it's a work day, right? I did not start off my day by getting up by an alarm clock to go to some job that I have to have or I can't pay my bills. I don't have to do that. I haven't had to do that for a long time. That certainly helps keep a person young, feeling young. And when you're feeling young, it's easy to have the energy to do things physically to keep you young as well. That's important. I'm an old soul, but I look and I feel so young and so energized, but my soul is old, and I love that combination that I have about myself. But right off the bat, that's the first thing, to be a free human being where I get to get up when I want instead of adding an alarm clock to go to some job. That ages the soul, and it ages a person physically too. Even if somebody loves their job and they love going, but when you have to because you can't pay your bills otherwise, it doesn't matter if you love it or not. That is a a human shackle to the dollar, and that's not cool. And if somebody says otherwise, they're lying through their teeth, period. And lying isn't cool either. Lying also ages the soul and the body. So after that, other things I do for my Fountain of Youth, and I'm going to go on to teach this throughout the years too, because now I can, being over 40, I can be the proof, right? Drink lots of water, everybody knows that. Drink lots of water. Minimize alcohol consumption, everybody knows that. But here's some things that maybe people don't know or they don't give enough credence to, and that is getting lots of good quality sleep every night. Because that's the only time the part of your brain that turns on to heal and rejuvenate certain cells in your body, is when you're in a good deep sleep. And raspberries, something very specific. Raspberries are a superfood for the soul. I'm sorry, superfood for the skin. The skin, and everyone wants young looking skin as we get older. So I make sure I get some raspberries in me every day. And I don't ruin the raspberries by making them into jams and cooking them down and adding sugar. No, I just pick it right off the friggin' vine and eat it. And if I can't pick it right from the vine and it's store-bought, then I'll get organic whenever possible, fresh as possible, not frozen, sometimes frozen, but as often as possible, as fresh as possible, and I just eat it as it is without doing anything into it. It's the best way to get just about any kind of food, really, especially any kind of produce, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, all those things. So I eat a lot of plants. Anytime somebody compliments the way that I look, my hair, skin, nails, somebody learns that I'm 40 years old or 39 recently, and they're blown away. They guess that I thought you were 27, 28, 29. If somebody guesses that I'm like 30, that's old. Like, people usually guess in my 20s. Recently someone said 32, and I'm like, whoa. But usually it's like 27, 28, and 29. And anytime something like that happens, my go-to gut response is, thanks, I eat a lot of plants. And I don't say, thanks, I live a healthy lifestyle, or thanks, I eat a lot of healthy foods, because that's not specific enough. Most people think that drinking a glass of milk is healthy, and it's not. Milk will age you. Milk is terrible for you. And there's a lot of examples too, but I'll just stick with that one because it's common. So I say something specific like, thanks, I eat a lot of plants. It's true. Plants is, it's pretty specific. Not totally specific, like I could get into what kind of plants, but at least it's something different, it's something memorable that people remember, and maybe they'll research it more. So, thanks, I eat a lot of plants. And to get more specific than that, I eat mostly raw, unprocessed, as fresh as possible plants. Greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, seeds, berries. I try to get those in my diet every day, raw and as fresh as possible. I add salt to nothing, not even pink Himalayan salt. I don't add any salt, not even healthy salt. I don't add sugar to, not even healthy sugar like cane sugar and whatever else. I don't add sugar, don't add salt to anything. And I eat fresh, raw, as often as possible, organic whenever possible. That's hugely, all of that is a superfood for the skin, but raspberries in particular is a superfood for the skin. And what's really cool about having healthy skin is that it's symptomatic of healthy organs. If you have old, tired-looking skin, especially compared to how old you are, and you look older than you really are, your organs probably are not doing very well. Your internal organs are aging, and that's more important than what the skin is doing, but they both go hand in hand. So the fact my skin looks like this, and I look younger than my age, I'm 40 years old, people guess I'm 27 years old, that's symptomatic of healthy organs I've got going on. And when your internal organs are doing well, those are healthy and hydrated and functioning at their full capacity, their full healing and functional capacity, that means you're also going to be feeling good. You're going to be moving good. You're going to be functioning good. If you're moving and functioning well, you can't help but to feel good. And then that's also reflective of how you look. And I can't tell you, man, maybe I'll get into my first offer and invitation now, feel it coming. But I've worked with and helped a lot of ladies, a lot of women, especially older women, who are wearing less makeup, because makeup is something that is used as a cover-up. Girls, it's true. As you get older, things happen, you get lines in the face, certain blemishes, and you want to cover it up. And so I have testimonials from countless women that tell me that they don't need as much makeup. Some of them don't wear makeup at all anymore, or their reason for wearing makeup is completely repurposed now. from covering up blemishes and so forth to something else. I hear it all the time because we're treating the body at the internal organs, which sort of takes care of the skin automatically. How cool is that? So to wear less makeup or no makeup, but at the very least less, because you got great internal organs functioning as they should, which makes your skin look better, and I mean, you're going to feel better. It's awesome. It's a win-win-win for you. And also people that are on medications, pharmaceutical customers, many of them, it just all goes with the territory. A lot of them safely come off of their medications with their doctor's approval. That's important. And so it's just a win-win-win, except for the pharmaceutical private companies. But who gives a shit about them? They don't care about us, so I really don't care if I take away their customers. It's awesome if I do it. So my offer regarding that is go to my website, tomberkenmeyer.com. Just like it's spelled here on social media, tomberkenmeyer.com, take out the space. I have a whole Get Healthy section, and in there is a very comprehensive, healthy grocery list that I poured myself into. And when I learn new things, I make little updates in there, and I make it better and better. It's been a working asinine over the past, about 7 or 8 years. It was at least 7 years ago I started that. And it's just been an improvement, and it's going to continue to improve as I learn new things, because I'm constantly learning from people much smarter than I am, so that I can provide more value to you guys. That's why I go to things like Health, Healing, and Happiness conferences in Las Vegas, and I learn from all these incredibly smart people. And I spend a lot of money learning all that stuff. And I can come back and I can share what I learned with you guys and give you something really awesome to work with that you can apply to your life as well. And that's why you don't really see me talking much about positive affirmations and stuff. I mean, a positive affirmation is only good if it's backed up with some kind of sustenance. Like, there's nothing more annoying for me personally than to go to somebody's timeline and all it is positive affirmation, positive quotes, positive ideas, one right after another, but there's no sustenance backing it up. And typically when I see a person like that, they're usually in a mess, and they're in the same mess year after year after year, and nothing's getting any better. So I feel compelled, because I think it's cruel and unusual. Knowing what I know, it's cruel and unusual not to back all that stuff up with something actionable that a person can actually apply to their lives. Now, most people won't do it, but some people do, and I always hear from those people. It's like, wow, Tom, you had some really positive ideas, but then you had some cool mechanical stuff of sustenance to back it up, something applicable I can start doing with my life every day, and here's what happened for me, something I can observe, measure, and feel. And so those are typically the people that I'm going to hear from, and I get a lot of testimonials from that over the past 10 years, a decade now. Holy shit. Well, this August will be a decade, only a month from that. But it happens all the time. So that's why you don't see me harping on positive stuff often. I'm more of a sustenance kind of person, so that people can apply positive things and get a positive result in their life. That's really important to me. And it's also important to people that know what I'm talking about and are going to do that. So yeah, go to my website. That's my first offer and invitation. Go to my website, tomberkenmeyer.com, and go through my Get Healthy section. Look at the healthy grocery list. I pour myself into it. And from there, you're also going to see my YouTube channel, specifically the channel I have dedicated for plant-based whole food cooking. I've got 102 episodes so far, and I'll be adding more regularly. Out of 102 videos, you can follow along and make stuff. I mean, just go through it and make whatever looks cool to you and start doing those things. I go through not just like how to make this stuff, but I also go through the health benefits that you're going to get from it and how it's going to taste good, what it's going to do for you, what it's going to do for you medicinally, because I think it's important to make a mental mind connection to what you're going to be doing for yourself, what you're going to be doing for your body and for your brain as you're making all these different plant-based whole foods, versus just blindly doing it. If you can make that mental connection, like, I'm adding cabbage to this recipe, raw cabbage, and I'm making it in such a way that it's going to fight cancer, it's going to prevent cancer, it's going to do all these wonderful things. Or, here's a tomato, a raw tomato, it's got 4 chambers like my heart, and it's a superfood for the heart, it's going to help my heart to repair itself. Or, these mushrooms, vitamin D, and it looks like my thyroid. These mushrooms are going to be a superfood for my thyroid. And so as you're making that mental connection with all these different foods that I explain in all these videos, you're going to increase the healing capacity, the absorption of it, and what your body's going to put it to work for. And you're just going to get more medicinal benefits from making that mental connection. So you're not only going to get like how to make all these different dishes, but you're going to understand what it's going to be for in your body as well, and also how you feed your kids and so on and so forth. So that's just the tip of the iceberg of the value that you're going to get from my stuff. And all of that stuff, by the way, is for free consumption. I don't charge for any of it. I have a page you can donate to if you wish, totally up to you, but you can absorb all of that stuff for free. You don't even have to put in an email address to get it. It's just there for you. Speaking of an email address, I'll get to, here's another offering. If you go to tombirkenmeyer.com, on the right column, you will see something. Let me bring up that website right now. I got my page, or I got my laptop open, but you'll see it when you get there. It's an opt-in, one of the only opt-ins that I have. It says, put your name and email address in. I'll send you some good stuff that helps you get healthier physically, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. I'll even send you stuff that helps you carve your own path toward firing your boss, if that's something that you want. And then you put in your name and your email address. And lately I haven't emailed it very often. Sometimes I'll do it several times a week, sometimes once a month. But it's always stuff that I feel is important. So it's never filler type stuff. Never fillers. It's always something like, yeah, this can make a profound difference for somebody, so I'm going to send it off. And then you'll get free stuff from me too. So if you want to opt into that, please do. It's pretty cool stuff. And you'll also see on my website, tombirkenmeyer.com, I got a huge blog section, and it's divided into different categories, where I've got my ebook, which is for free, by the way. My ebook I wrote years ago, after I figured out how to make my first 6 figures online, and I bought my house in cash and fired my boss and all these things. Basically wrote a book about exactly how I did it, because I documented everything. You can get that ebook for free. It's just based on a donation system where you donate to either Gerson or the King's Ransom Foundation. And Gerson, well, here's another offering and invitation. Gerson, they're a wonderful organization that helps people to heal from all cancers, all stages, including stage 4, and including people that were told to go home by their doctor because there was nothing more they could do, get your finances in order, prepare to die because there's nothing we can do. They get people like that too, and they have a habit of healing them using nature, not pharmaceuticals, no chemo, no surgeries, no radiation. So they're one of the only people that I donate to is Gerson. So if you donate to them, you can get my ebook for free. Okay? Also, the other one, King's Ransom, they're an organization that rescues kids from human trafficking rings, which is a problem in every state in America, let alone other countries in the world. They also feed kids who are starving to death internationally. They know no borders. Every life is valuable, no matter if they're American or Indonesian or Romanian. They feed people throughout the world that are starving to death, and they rescue people from human trafficking rings, and they do other things too. So you donate to Gerson or you donate to King's Ransom, you're more than welcome to pick up my ebook for free. And the value that you're going to get in my ebook is you're going to learn what I did to create my financial freedom. So I got freedom of time, because that's why we do it. How I did it online, you can duplicate it, you can get that book for free. So there's another offer and another invitation for you. And that, by the way, speaking of Fountain of Youth type stuff, man, if you're doing that kind of stuff where you're creating time freedom for yourself, where you don't have to go to a job, but it becomes optional, you can decide to leave it or keep it, but it's an optional thing, you're no longer controlled or manipulated through money dependency to pay your bills. That's a Fountain of Youth concept. Are you kidding me? You could be eating clean all day long and exercising, but you're still shackled to the dollar. That's going to age your soul, your mind, your body, and your spirit. And if anybody says they're okay with needing their job out of a financial dependency to pay their bills, if anybody says they're okay with that, they're flat out flipping lying. That's not true. That's just a form of auto-protection to make it easier to live with themselves. And they know it, and I know it, and it's just bullshit. So don't sell yourself in that scam. Nobody wants to be a modern-day slave or an old-day slave. Nobody wants to be a slave, and nobody wants to be shackled to the dollar or controlled or manipulated through money dependency to pay their bills, whether you love your job or not. That's a different conversation. So, yeah, becoming free so that you can be free with your time, that is a fountain of youth for the mind, body, the spirit, the soul, all the way around. It really is, and you know it. Gosh, what else? Okay, I'll go into another offer and another invitation. So 10 years ago, August of 2007, or one month shy of that at the time of this little video. Hi Lisa, hi Michelle. The girl I was dating at the time, her name is Melanie. She got into a home business, a company called Beachbody, and she invited me, and I said no for a while. To my self-destruction, I said no. But anyway, eventually 3.5 months later, I said yes. And had no clue what I was doing. Lots of self-doubt. But I just got my ass to work as far as learning goes. It's one thing I had in my favor always. I was always willing to learn, and not just willing, but hungry to learn, no matter what it was, to have more energy, to be healthier, to get out of this modern-day slavery game of being controlled and manipulated by money. I was just hungry to learn. So I learned what to do, and I did it, thankfully. And it took me 2.5 years to where I became financially free, and a few months after that I bought my house in cash. And it's nice not having a mortgage or rent or a car payment, right? That frees up a lot of things. But it was because I eventually said yes with a hunger for learning and doing always. I always made it a game for myself, because there's a lot of educated derelicts, people much smarter than me, but they never apply what they learn in a way that makes them free, ever. So I made it a game with myself. Anytime I learned something new, before my head hit the pillow that night, I would force myself to put it into some kind of action to figure it out, even if I messed it up, because I could learn from the feedback of a mistake. That's important. I also learn from the feedback when I do something right. Either way, I learn from it. So I always made it a point, every day I learn and teach something, right? That's like my learn, teach, and do something. And here's another thing that is like a fountain of youth. Learning and teaching every day. That's my biggest MO, method of operation. Every day I want to learn something and teach something, and it typically goes on my Facebook timeline. You've been following me for any length of time, you see that. And what's really cool about that is not only are you learning, but when you teach something that you learn, and you learn how to teach it in a way that is like a first grade level, something you learn how to teach it super easy with easy words and not make it all complicated and jumbled up. It's something very easy. Then as you're teaching it, the absorption of what you just learned, you really digest the material you just learned, and it really gets absorbed, and you can apply it more easily and do it more easily. So you're getting a huge benefit just by learning and then teaching it in a way that's easy for people to understand. But then also at the same time, you're putting tremendous value out there consistently for people to get a benefit from, based on whatever it is that you're teaching, and which also makes you younger and is like the fountain of youth for your mind and your body and your spirit. So learning and teaching every day and putting value out there for other people to get a benefit from, fountain of youth, baby, for you and an audience that you're building up by doing something like that. So, and that's a concept that I got into I don't know, maybe a couple years after I signed on to be a home business dude. So maybe for the past 8.5 years, I've been learning and teaching something every day. So that's added up to a lot. And that's why I have over 2,300 videos of learning and teaching something, or showing people something that I think is cool. Over 2,300. Now, the number one thing that I hear from people that are aging their own soul and body without them even knowing it, is they'll say, yeah, but I suck at videos, Tom, you're a natural, and so they don't get started. That certainly ages the soul. So here's what I did. I sucked at it too. You're gonna suck, probably. Most people are gonna suck at first. I had to do 100 takes before I could keep my first video. So if you do 2,300 videos, or 2,300 instances of where you're learning and teaching something, you're going to be really good at it too, and you're going to seem like a natural, even though on number 1 you weren't, but on number 2,300 you're totally great at it. That's the only way that I know of to get really good at it. So I threw my first 100 away until I could keep one, and now they're almost single take almost every single time, and I look like a natural because I am a natural now. I wasn't when I started, but that's the only way anybody gets good. And that is a fountain of youth idea right there. If you don't do something that you're interested in doing, but you decide not to because you're not any good at it, or you don't know how, you're going to get old very fast. You're going to get old, and nobody likes that. You're going to get stale and just not any good. But if you have this attitude of, yeah, I want to do something, but I don't know how, I'm going to stink at it at first, but I'm going to get started anyway and figure it out. Fountain of youth, baby. Fountain of youth. Sometimes you just got to remember that you got some big brass balls or some big brass ovaries. Maybe reach down and feel them so you know where they're at, and have some guts and do it anyway. It's important. That's fountain of youth stuff right there. Excuse makers, People that do the mental gymnastics to come up with a rationalization behind an excuse, they get old very quick. They get stale. They get boring. They're not inspiring anybody to do anything. And we've all done it. So just draw a line in the sand and don't do that anymore. And then jump over that line with both feet, not one, or you're not really doing it, but both feet. And don't do that anymore. No more mental gymnastics to rationalize excuses to make it easier to live with yourself. In the end, it doesn't make it easier to live with yourself. In the end, it just ages your soul and your mind and your body and inspires nobody to do anything. So don't do that anymore. There's enough people out there trying to scam you, right? You don't want to be the biggest scammer in your life. You don't need that inside of your own head. There's enough people trying to rip you off as it is and external of your brain. So don't be one of those the thief on the street that's after your wallet pales in comparison to the one that's in your brain after your dreams. So don't do this mental gymnastics anymore of coming up with the rationale to justify excuses to make it easier to live with yourself. That ages you. The fountain of youth is to be like, I don't know how to do it, but I want to do it because it's important, and I don't know how, and I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm going to jump in and fail early, fail often, and learn and figure it out, and listen to people smarter than me and do whatever it takes to figure it out. Because when the going gets tough, get going and figure it out. That's the fountain of youth. When the going gets tough, give up and quit and do the mental gymnastics to rationalize quitting to make it easier to live with myself. That ages you. I hope I made my point. Big time. So going back to that story, August of 2007, I got into a home business. And since then, I've realized exactly what it is that I do. I had no idea what it was back then, but the best way to sum up what I do now, I guess, is I be myself, my authentic, genuine self. I live me out loud, so to speak. I'm not branding Beachbody. Beachbody is the company that I partnered with, but if you've been following me on my timeline, I'm not out there promoting Beachbody or even their products for that matter. I'm talking about things I care about. And if you follow my timeline, you're going to know what that is. It's travel, it's art, it's helping people become healthy physically, financially, emotionally. The fountain of youth for the mind, body, the soul. What else am I passionate about that you see in my timeline? Family, friends. I love food. I love medicinal eating, health, healing, happiness, really great mindset ideas. I love ideas. I love philosophy. These are traveling. I love traveling and those are things that I talk about. I'm not out there promoting Beachbody, even though I signed up to be a Beachbody coach. I don't promote it. They promote their brand and they do it well. I promote Tom Birkenmeier. It's me. And then where Beachbody fits in all of that is they're the platform, the leverage. They're what I use for their healthy, organic products and their passive residual paychecks. Organic products and passive money is a fountain of youth idea. Big time. Ordinary earned income, which is what you get from your job, that ages you. You have one of the coolest actionable philosophies I've ever heard in my life is you have monthly residual bills. It only makes sense to have monthly residual income. But you don't. You have monthly residual bills that you're trying to meet head on with ordinary earned income that you get from a job, and you can never get ahead that way. You have to pound the pavement and keep yourself shackled to the dollar, otherwise you stop getting paid. That's how you're controlled and manipulated through the dependency of money to pay your bills, including most people that are self-employed. Self-employed isn't going to cut it. They're still working for a paycheck and they still have to show up, otherwise they stop getting paid and they can't pay their bills. Passive money is the fountain of youth. It's the only income that unshackles a person from the dollar. So eventually you don't have to keep showing up every day and pounding the pavement. And you can have your freedom of time, because that's the only reason anybody ever gets into passive and residual money is because they want time freedom. And what's everybody out there doing? They pick up a second job, they get overtime, and they go for those things, continuing to rip themselves off even deeper and going deeper into that hold of modern day slavery of shackling themselves to the dollar. People are so conditioned within the employee mindset. I just need to work harder and I need to pick up more hours, whether it's another second job, third job, or overtime, and boom, that's going to solve it. And it doesn't. You have to keep showing up. It's bullshit. It ages your soul. It ages your soul. You're not going to get ahead that way. Passive income is the only way to get ahead. It's the only thing that's going to give you your freedom, period. And that's not an opinion. That's a fact. That's empirical. So that's a huge fountain of life concept. Getting organic foods and products into your body and earning an income that is passive and residual. Those are fountain of youth ideas. Otherwise, you age the soul, your mind, your body, your spirit every day for a paycheck and every day for toxic food and all those kinds of garbage things. So that's another offer. My next offer and invitation for all of you is to start the transition away from an ordinary earned income, one that ages you, and get into one that makes you young again, a passive income. That's the fountain of youth, using organic products. So I have this Beachbody business, but I don't promote them. I use them for their organic products, fountain of youth, and their passive paychecks, fountain of youth. But I'm talking about stuff I love, which means, against popular bullshit advice and ideas, it's for everybody. They always say it's not for everybody. That's bullshit. That's just easily digestible commercial crap that it's not for everybody. It is for everybody. Because it centers around you being yourself. Like when I offer this to people and invite them in and they say, yes, okay, let's do this. The training, I'm not training them. I wouldn't train you on how to promote Beachbody or some other brand. I wouldn't train you on how to promote that stuff. I'd train you on how to develop yourself and live yourself out loud, which means it's for everybody, period. Well, I guess there's an exception there after all. If you're not hungry to learn, it probably wouldn't be for you. But then how stupid would that be if you're not hungry to learn? So that's not even my tribe. I don't care about that. But assuming that you love learning, it's for everybody, because when somebody comes into this, all of my trainings are revolved around you being yourself. And then we use this company Beachbody for their organic products and their passive and residual paychecks, the fountain of youth. It's the fountain of youth kind of income and a fountain of youth kind of product. So you get to be yourself, which means it's for everybody. So that's my next offer and invitation for you. If that turns you on, you want to get into that kind of fountain of youth, something that's real like that, and learn from somebody, me, who went through all the struggles that I went through to learn how to do that and build that up successfully so that I don't need a job, so I don't have one anymore. And I bought my house in cash, have no house payment, no rent, and I can travel and I can do stuff and I got my time freedom, but I had to go through all these struggles to do that, and it's all revolved around me promoting me, not Beachbody. If you want to be able to do that for yourself, for your own reasons, not promoting Beachbody, but learning how to be yourself and develop yourself more, using Beachbody for their organic nutritionals and passive income, fountain of youth, then private message me on that one. You won't be able to do that just by going to tomberkenmeyer.com like all the other offers I've made in this video. You'll have to privately connect with me about that and tell me that you're sincerely interested in it, and I'll show you what I've got going on. So that's going to be my best fountain of youth offer over everything else, even more than the healthy grocery list and everything else that I've talked about. It's going to be that, because time freedom is like the biggest fountain of youth variable to all of this. Like, you can be eating clean all day long and working out. You don't have your time freedom, that ages you more than anything. It negates a lot of the other stuff. You have to have time freedom. But I'm also not saying you have to pick either or. I'm saying yes and yes. Either or is a poor philosophy, a poor way to live. But when you get to say yes and yes, like yes, time freedom, yes, healthy lifestyle, yes, healthy eating, yes, healthy physical activity, yes, healthy, beautiful relationships with other people. So you get all these things going for yes, financial freedom, yes, a personal life, yes and yes. That's rich. I mean, that's really rich. That's wonderful. And that's what I'm offering. But remember, this whole Beachbody thing, I don't teach anybody how to promote Beachbody. I teach you how to be a real entrepreneur. And a real entrepreneur is somebody who sees another company like Beachbody as a form of leverage for their organic nutritionals and their passive and residual paychecks. And you get to be yourself, which means it's for everybody. So yeah, that's my biggest fountain of youth thing right there. So looking forward to all the private messages I'm going to get about that. That's for damn sure. All right, moving right along. I hope I made that point crystal clear. Another fountain of youth idea, as I just turned 40, I'm also I find myself less reserved about who I am without worrying about offending people. But I'm also very considered. Like there's a nuanced position there. In my later years, I've become much more nuanced. Like I'll take a topic button without worry about offending anybody. Like take a position that's usually not nuanced at all in politics and media, and even just everyday people. Pro-life, pro-choice. I'm not going to get into that here, but usually there's no nuance. In my older years, I'm more nuanced about it, and I've got my reasons for it. But that's just one example. Even, gosh, on the political spectrum, conservative or liberal, I'm much more nuanced than that. Socialism or capitalism, much more nuanced in that. And that's where real intelligence and wisdom comes from. It's being able to stand on the edge of a coin. You got heads, you've got tails, but you're able to stand on the edge of that coin and look at both oppositions and retain the ability to function. That's real wisdom. So that's Fountain of Youth, because that takes away stress and you're not dramatizing things. And you're able to communicate more effectively with other people who are also mature in spirit, maybe young in mind, young in body, but older in years and mature in spirit. That's a very mature, spiritual, but Fountain of Youth kind of thing, is to be able to have all these nuanced positions. Big time. And that goes through a lot of personal development as well. And I think that's about all I got. Nothing else is coming to my brain right now. I'm going to go up and read some of the comments now. I see there's more people than usual that's still on a video that's this long. Hi Phyllis, Kristen, Lisa, Sherry, Chandra, Sherry again, Rob, Michelle. Let's see who else is out there. Christine, I got your package. Another Michelle, Karen. Michelle, I don't wear much makeup you're talking about, but you have light lashes, so you like mascara. Cool. Sherry, let's cook together sometime. Sherry, private message me. Sounds cool. I always like cooking with other people. Maybe we'll make a video for my cooking channel. Christine, nice to see you. Michelle, and a lot of Michelles. Holy cow. Good morning to you too. Monique, I see you watching me. Evie loves what I'm doing. Heather, Jenny, Doreen. Thanks for sharing this. I see a few of you have shared this. Mal, you're welcome for all the great info. Thanks for absorbing the great info, especially if you're putting it to use, applying it. That's what I love. Heather is watching. I see you watching me, Heather. How do I feel about vitamins? One of the many Michelle asks. Vitamins are essential to life. You can't live without them. So if you want to be more specific, are you talking about a vitamin supplement? A vitamin supplement is good as long as you absorb it, because one of the myths out there is you are what you eat. And that's not true. You are what you absorb. So most vitamin supplements, most supplements period, are garbage. They just go right through you. You don't absorb them. You're just wasting your money. One of the things I love about the Beachbody products is that they're whole. So right off the bat, because they're whole, because they're raw, because they're living, the vitamins that are in the supplements there, and the minerals and so forth, because it's got everything else it's supposed to come with, because it's whole, you're automatically going to absorb it. So that's important in a supplement, or anything for that matter, because you are not what you eat, you are what you absorb. Heather says, this is so nice. Yes, it is. Monique, thank you, Tom. You rock. Thanks, Monique. Lisa, we just went to Summit together. It was so cool to see you. See you next year, and I guess it's going to be Indianapolis this year. It's not New Orleans, it's not Vegas, but it's Indianapolis. Melissa French, hey girl. Heather, I believe that is why we are so here spiritually, to learn and teach, to help level up spirituality. Absolutely, Heather, to raise the vibration and all that stuff. Paulette, hi Paulette, I see you watching me. I see you. Heather, 2007 is right before the economy tanked. Yes, it is, Heather. You must be alluding to when I was telling you when I signed up for the Beachbody coaching thing. Yeah, it was 2008 is when the economy tanked. I got in 2007, and by 2008 I hadn't really learned what I was doing yet, but I was still engaged in that process with a mighty hunger, and then poof, the economy tanked. And I can tell you 2008 was a year that a lot of fellow coaches decided to quit because of the economy. And they're like, oh, well, now nobody's going to do this. And then, less than 1 year later, my business No, not 1 year later. Let's see, it was 2000. Okay, about 1 year later, from 2008 to 2009, like the last couple months of 2009 is when my business just freaking blew up. And we were still in the midst of we were 1 year into the midst of the Great Recession. Mine blew up. Most people had the idea of, well, the economy's in the trash. Nobody's going to do this. Boy, were they wrong. How stupid and self-sabotaging were they? So, wow, yeah, that's just one of those things where one of the greatest philosophies I've ever heard is find out what most people are doing, find out how most people spend their time, their money, what excuses they're making, and then run the opposite direction as fast as you can. So most people were like, oh, the economy's tanking, I'm out, nobody's going to do this. I said, oh shit, well that means I got to double down. That doesn't mean I just stay, it means I got to stay and I got to double down. And then 1 year into it, it blew up. It was incredible. That's a big life lesson. That's a fountain of youth idea. Find out what most people are doing and do the opposite, and you'll be unusually successful. Lori Baldwin. Hi, Lori. Alexander, Heather, Gail, Marianne. I see all of you watching me. All right, I'm all caught up now. So if anybody has anything else you want to say before I get off the live feed version, and then this will just be archived as a recording. I don't really have anything else I want to share, except it's chapstick. I like chapstick. It's very manly of me, I know. Just another couple of seconds. And share this, y'all. Share TomBerkenmeyer.com and private message me if you'd like to talk to me about anything you heard in this video, or you can leave comments here. And if you are not on the live version but the recording, I'll come back and I'll see the comments in my notifications and I'll still be able to interact. Or just hit me up via private message. Rob, thank you. Rob says, you just put on chapstick too. Awesome. And most of all, I'm looking forward to people that want to lock arms with me and make passive money, because that is the biggest fountain of youth tip on planet Earth because of the time freedom. And time freedom is really what creates the fountain of youth, versus you don't have time freedom. You can be living a healthy lifestyle in every other way all you want, but you don't have time freedom. You're still shackled to the dollar to pay your bills. It goes against a lot of other things that you might be doing right. It really ages the soul like nothing else. So most of all, looking forward to locking arms with those of you that see that and understand that and want to go for the passive money. All right, I see a few more people just signed on. I've pretty much finished up, so I'm going to finish this right now and just, it'll be available in under a minute. Facebook is pretty quick. It'll be archived automatically on my timeline. And I encourage you to go through this, okay? Bye for now, everybody. Mwah. Take care.